And we are hitting live.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, all of you. Request for all of you to just go on mute so that we don't have any background or static or anything of that sort. And we can all focus on, all right, we are live on YouTube as well now. All right, good, excellent. Welcome, all of you. We got more than 25 people in and more people will join on YouTube. Folks, this is a moment of great pride and privilege for me. Can I request all of you to just switch off your videos while me and Sanjay will have the conversation and go on mute as well? Yeah, that'll be better. Thank you so much. Because we want to focus on what Sanjay wants to share with us today. I've had the privilege and the pleasure of working with many different bosses in my career. Many of you are my students, I can see in the list. Many of you have been my past colleagues from different companies. So it's so wonderful to see some very familiar names like I saw Akash Pahuja and Pradeep Bhutani and Amit, folks I've worked with for a long, long time. And a lot of my students, Bikram and Amit Kumar and Akshara and of course Mansi, Keshav, all of you guys, wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. So like I was saying, guys, I've had the privilege of working with many different leaders in my career. Some of them have been good and some of them have been really, really tough on me. But there's one person who has been more than a leader to me. He's been almost like a father figure, like an elder brother to me. And I had the privilege of working with Sanjay Khanna for many years, but as a direct reportee to him, as a person who reported into him for 4 years. That was in my last job. And for those of you who have been a part of Finance Leadership Mastermind, have been a part of my program for the last several months, you guys know that a lot of times I have shared my experiences of my leader, of how he kind of fine-tuned me, taught me a lot of life lessons and leadership lessons that I'm hopefully passing on to you. So it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome Sanjay Khanna here. Sanjay is a FCA with more than 30 years of experience. And he's the most incredible mix, people, of functional and technical expertise and leadership excellence. And when I thought and conceived the Iempower talks, and I'd continue to do these talks over the next several months now, I was wondering who should be the first person that I want to get in. And for me, it was very, very obvious that had to be Sanjay, because a lot of what I am today as a leader, or the path that I'm on, is because of what I learned with Sanjay. So as an experienced finance professional, as a chartered accountant who spent 3 decades in the profession, as a leader who's led thousands of people across the world, not just in India, Sanjay is the global financial operations head for one of the most respected and largest organizations in the world. He's had an illustrious career. He's been with this company for more than 25 years, risen from the ranks. He started from pretty much at the base of the pyramid and has risen to lead the global financial operations of this organization. And his influence goes well beyond the teams that he leads. He's pretty much a legendary leader as far as India's offshore accounting industry is concerned. So his reputation goes far and wide. I mean, you guys are very privileged here today to have this opportunity to interact with Sanjay. So the way we'll go about, guys, is me and Sanjay will have some conversation to and fro like we used to have when I used to work with him. And then towards the end, I want all of you to ask questions of Sanjay. Make sure that any questions that you might have, you can ask of Sanjay, and he loves answering questions. I know he does. So Sanjay, once again, thank you so much for joining me in my inaugural Iempower talks, and welcome. And, over to you, sir. Anything that you want to share with this audience to begin with before I get into my Q&A?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sanjay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. I really love all of you, because you're part of the same family, I would say. But before I start, I just want to, when Abhinav asked me to join this, I really found it really, really great opportunity, and I'm really feeling very privileged. Two things that Abhinav proved in his inaugural address that perhaps worth noticeable. One thing he said is that I'm a father figure. So he wanted to prove me that he's younger to me, which is fine. He always does that. Second thing, he also called off bosses. And you always know that boss is always not right. So that is also the second thing he proved that, that he's nice to me right now, but perhaps when we were together, he wasn't very nice to me. So all the things that he shares with you as part of his leadership learning is all the things that he observed me not following. And that's what he says that, you should follow some of these things because my boss never followed these things. So I just wanted to set the record straight that it is his greatness, it is his learning, and he's giving me a credit. So I'm really very humbled. But the credit goes to Abhinav because he saw me doing all those wrong things and he said, no, this is not something that you should do. And here we are today.
All right, so thank you so much. As you guys can see, Sanjay obviously loves embarrassing me, and for as far back as I can remember, he's been pulling my leg and making me look like a fool in front of people. But I don't mind. I've had a great time with Sanjay, and I'm glad I had this opportunity again to talk to you, Sanjay. So let's begin. Sanjay, what I thought would be very interesting for this audience. And even for people who've known you for many years, who are a part of this audience today, I can see some more old names popping up like Anju, etc., and Aditya. So even for people who've known you for many years, Sanjay, let me kind of take an interview question of you. Why don't you tell us about yourself, Sanjay? Walk us through your career journey. How did you start? How did you get here? What have been some of those big important lessons that you've learned along the way as you build this incredible career for yourself?
Okay, great. Thank you. And I know I have to be short and sweet. So, girls and boys, I would call you girls and boys because I am being already told I am a father figure. So, I'll call you girls and boys and not ladies and gentlemen. So, I think, and I will be very real and authentic with you. I don't want to create an image that perhaps Abhinav, I'm very good, but I want to be very real and tell you that the most important thing is that let me just start from the career perspective. So yeah, I did my schooling, I did my college, CA, joined one of the companies which was in manufacturing company, and I was a finance leader there, finance manager there, kind of a CFO and controller role. And that's where in 95, when the first time this shared services function, the buzzword started. So our company was the pioneer in that. And I thought that let me take a plunge, moving from a manufacturing background and manufacturing company to a service industry, which was completely different, something, a new concept, challenging. It was a tough decision on my part because I was doing very, very well. I was getting promotion after every second year. So I joined at the base level. Then I become an assistant manager, and then I become deputy manager. Then I become manager. So the career graph was, like vertical. But I thought that let me take a risk, and that's where I am. With the current company, which is almost 25 years now. And let me just also tell you, uh, I joined at the base level of leadership team here. What we call a team leader, and we have a band structure. So so I kind of in the last 25 years, kind of moved 5, 6, positions up, and that's where I am today, heading the financial operations for this company, global form financial operations. So it's been a wonderful journey, great learning. And I must tell you that at each level, uh, you know, uh, the reality is that, and I just want to share some facts with you because you guys are going to be starting your career now, or some of you have started your career. Uh, First and foremost thing that I want you to remember is that don't think that if you are not the topper of your institute or of your functional education, that you can't make it to the top. I want you to be, I want you to just get rid of this perception that you have to be, 99.9% marks and then top of the rank. When I did my graduation, you'll be surprised, and I'm not going to boast. I just got 50% marks, a bare minimum 450 out of 900, just to get an entry into CA. Let me also admit here that I also tried CA entrance and I got 199. 200 was the passing mark, and I got 199. I failed there. So the reality that I'm just trying to say here is that it's not that you have to be on the top of the top and cream la cream that we say. You can do everything. The second thing I want you to remember is that in your career, you can acquire any skill. You don't have to be a perfect starter. You don't have to be Sachin Tendulkar. You don't have to be the master batsman or a master bowler. You, all you need is a positive intent and eagerness to learn. You can acquire all skills. So Abhinav talked about functional skills, technical skills, or leadership skills. I acquired all of them because just like most of you, I am also a chartered accountant. And in CA, they just teach you technical subjects. They don't teach you leadership. They don't tell you that what it means to communicate well, whether written, oral, or present. Those are the skills which are probably the privilege of our MBA friends. They are kind of sharpened right from day one, but we are the one who are at disadvantage to begin with. But you can acquire all those skills. So the long and short of all I am trying to say is, as long as you have the positive intent, as long as you have the intellectual curiosity to learn, you can do anything. And believe you me, if I can rise, if I have risen from the ranks, I can promise that any one of you can make it to the top. Believe me.
That's a very valid point, Sanjay. And you made some very important points around taking a little bit of risk in your career. Obviously, you joining the offshore shared service industry at a time when nobody knew about it, it was a risk. And when even I joined very early 2000s, it was still a little bit of a risk. And what I noticed, Sanjay, because I work a lot with my student community now in the Finance Leadership Mastermind, and a lot of these are chartered accountants. A lot of them are here today. What I hear a lot from people still is that there is almost like a little bit of an aversion to go and join the offshore industry amongst the chartered accountants. And while I've been trying to explain to them that there are great careers to be built in offshore industry, in the shared service industry. People like you have had an illustrious career, legendary career, and you're not a rarity. There are quite a few other people who've made great careers too. Why don't you share your perspective on what are the kind of skills that people can develop if they become a part of this shared service, ITES, offshore sort of industry, which is continuing to grow, even though our cost arbitrage has started to come down and we are now in, a slightly more expensive economy in comparison to what we were in early 2000s or late 90s. But this industry continues to grow. And would you like to share some thoughts around what a person can develop, what skills a person can acquire in this industry, what kind of careers we can have, and some trends which are emerging in this industry for professionals in the future?
Yeah, no, that's a very valid question. And in fact, when I joined this organization, obviously we were the first, and there was no one. We all thought, some of us who joined at that time, we all thought that perhaps it's like a bubble that we had at that time, and this will also fall. But I think there was some conviction in our mind that service industry is a growing industry. So if you step back, you typically, when you join CA, or when you join any professional qualification, the first thing that comes to your mind is that, oh, I'm going to be the CFO of that organization. I'm going to be the CEO of that organization. I'm going to be the one who will be running a big empire like Mukesh Ambani. Those are the dreams that all of us have because, we have put in huge amount of hard work to get our professional degree, which is absolutely right. It's okay to have dreams. But list industry is that while manufacturing continues to be a very strong industry, at the same time, service industry has come in a time when government has opened up, international. It has actually taken over manufacturing industries. Now, let me be a little real with of you. When we all think of a career, we think that okay, I should get a decent compensation, I should decent office, I should have a life which is, I can do anything and everything. I can go to USA, EMEA, or Europe and everything. So all the luxuries of life. And then most importantly, you also feel that you want to grow, very fast. So those are some of the things that typically you have when you are like a 16-year or a 20-year. But the important thing is that with the service industry coming in, it has opened up huge amount of opportunities for us. At my time, we had only three options, CA, CA. No, okay, let me put it this way. First thing was that, if you're a very good student, you will join medicine. If you fail in medicine, you will join engineering. If you fail in engineering, then say, okay, then you join CA, because entry is okay, but I never had an interest on medicine. But I said, okay, 50% marks in graduation. The only thing I can do is to get a CA entry, and it. But I think this industry, coming back to this industry, I think this industry offers you everything. I'm telling you from a Maslow need of hierarchy perspective. The money that it offers is a superb compensation. Somebody is saying voice is cutting intermittently. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Sanjay. Your voice was breaking a little bit earlier.
Is it better now?
It's better now. It's better.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
So what I was saying was that uh, this industry offers you best of the best compensation. This industry offers you international travel, which is also very close to our hearts. And this industry also offers the job satisfaction, and most importantly, it's not that you stick to one line within this industry, because these are all international organizations. After 2 years, you can opt out from a current role and move to a different role. So if you join tax and you want to join treasury, then you want to join, record to report or procure to pay. This industry has everything. So what it makes you, and that is one of the things that I would also recommend you. There are two career paths that you can adopt. One is that become a specialist, one is that you become a generalist and have diverse portfolio. Both are good. Both have their own pluses and minuses. But what I have seen from my perspective is that if you have a breadth of experience, of doing different jobs of finance functions, or operation functions, then in today's world, which is changing so fast, your fungibility, your market price, and your ability to move from one industry to another industry improves. And that's what this industry offers. Because when I started my career, I was in accounting. Then I moved from accounting to a completely different function, which was system support, technology support. And at that time, I thought, I'm a chartered accountant. What am I doing in a system support? But 5 years later, when or 7 years later, this company decided to implement ERP solution for the company, global company, and they picked me up because I had that finance experience, I had that technology experience, and I was leading the ERP implementation, Oracle implementation for the entire company. I also changed my roles from, I become a Six Sigma quality expert. At that time, quality was being deployed across all industries. So then I become the quality leader of this organization, and we deployed Six Sigma quality here. Then the buzzword was SOX, controls, because there were 302 and 404 was implemented. I become the SOX leader. So to cut the long story short, in my 25 years, I have changed 7 to 8 distinct different roles of doing accounting, reporting, technology implementation, analytics, ERP, and you call it, and I have done it. Today, where I stand now, any industry, if it dooms today, I can jump to another role. So that's the benefit of, again, joining these companies and having a diverse experience.
Yeah, I think this is $1 million advice to all the youngsters who are here. This is so true, and something that I've been saying as well. If you really want to get diverse experiences, these are the kind of organizations or industry you want to go and work for. You will never really get bored because the opportunity to do different things exists. Within the organization, you can keep changing roles, you can keep moving to different functions and keep acquiring different skills, like Sanjay mentioned, from SOX and controls to technology to treasury to operations, record to report. So you get very, very diverse experiences. Now, sometimes people also think that these kind of organizations don't really require a lot of technical skills, Sanjay. But I have noticed you personally, even I was obviously never very technically inclined myself, but I have noticed you, Sanjay. You've been, like this amazing person who had the perfect mix of technical expertise as well as leadership excellence, like I mentioned earlier. How did you find this balance, Sanjay? How did you find the balance between being so hands-on technically that anytime, I, as for example, as a person who was working for you, went up with a problem to you, you were able to give me a solution to it. And at the same time, being so adept as a leader, how did you find that balance? And how did you keep updating yourself even after you rose up the ranks?
Very valid question. And in fact, that also brings me to a couple of other learnings that I wanted to share with this group. Today, when we say that you want to be at a senior leadership position, what are the few important things that you should keep in mind? And that's where, what we expect today from how you gradually grow, and the point that I was earlier mentioning, that if you have experience, if you dirty your hands as you start your career. I mean, when I started my career, the first day when I went to my job, my leader said that, here are the 50 checks that we have received from our debtors. We have to bank these checks. Can you write a summary statement of these checks? So write down the check number, date, amount, and a code was there. So I was looking, I said, I'm a chartered accountant. I'm supposed to be a CFO, LFO, whatever that word. What are they asking me to do? And then, okay, I said, no, this is the first day. So maybe, it's an induction kind that they want me to do this dirty job of, it's not a dirty job, but, the entry, you don't need to be a CA to just fill up a statement. And the best part was, then he said, check number. So I didn't know the check number. I said, and then I went to my leader. I said, sir, can you tell me what is the check number? He looked at me. He was like, 55-year, risen from the rank, non-professional. He looked at me and he said, कैसे कैसे CA आ जाते हैं? इनको ये भी नहीं पता check number क्या होता है. I mean, I looked at him. I said, what? I mean, मैं chartered accountant. I looked at him, and in my mind, I said, look, tomorrow you'll be reporting to me, because I was like chartered accountant, with that all that aura that you see behind the CAs. But then I had to get it. So the important thing is that in all your jobs, whatever job you pick up, make sure that you go as deep as possible, at least once. At least once. I'm not saying repeat it, because that's not you are cut out for. But what I did differently, to answer a specific question that Abhinav said, that every time in my 25 years, when I faced any customer issue or a problem in my function, what I decided to do was that for that customer issue or that problem, I went right into the deep, So if it was a reporting issue that I reported wrong numbers for, let's say, income, then from income, I got back to ledger, journal ledger. From journal ledger, I went back to journal entry. From journal entry, I went back to the support for that journal entry, then went back from that support, where this support came from. So all the way from down to up. So every time a problem came, I did a deep, and that gave me a learning, because that was a customer dissatisfaction, and I solved that. So as I grow in my career, those learnings stayed with me. And this is the technical part of it. So you don't have to learn everything. Believe you me, simple thing. You don't have to learn everything. But anytime your team faces an issue, make sure that you go level 10 and understand that, because those issues are exceptions into the process, and those exceptions will not come, and they give you the best of the best learning. And the second thing, which is more important now, is that apart from technical expertise, the leadership function, leadership that is not taught today in CA, is something like, what Abhinav has taken this baton or a challenge, that I will teach you leadership. It's a big differentiator. I mean, I'll tell you, I have had colleagues, or I have a team or employees who are rank holders, toppers, but they are like 5 level below me, because they never invested on the leadership side. And that's what Abhinav is trying to do. He's trying to tell you that apart from technical knowledge, the leadership is also very important these days. So that's what it is.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. And I hope you guys are taking notes here. These are some very, very valuable suggestions of how to go in deep, when to go in deep. And, as chartered accountants, we have to find that right balance between becoming micromanagers of everything which happens and being aware to the point where, people can rely on you and trust you. And Sanjay also brought up a very important point around customer satisfaction. I think that's a mindset that all of us chartered accountants or finance professionals need to develop. We often think managing customer expectations is not our job. Our job is to manage the integrity of the books of accounts, the financial statements, taking care of the regulations, the rules, the standards, etc. But whichever job or function you are in, I think it's very important to understand that there is always a customer. Whatever it is you're doing, whether you are working in an audit firm or a tax consultant or in an offshore or in an investment banking firm, or whatever it is that you're doing, there is always a customer. The customer could be external to you, customer could be internal within the organization. And you need to develop that mindset of solving problems, helping out customers when people come to you with a problem. Whether it is your team or somebody outside your team, do you have the mindset of helping them out and solving those problems for you? So absolutely great advice. Now, Sanjay, let's talk a little bit more about leadership. Now, guys, for those of you who don't know Sanjay, there are some very interesting aspects about Sanjay. Sanjay never forgets people's birthdays, anniversaries, their promotion anniversaries, their engagement anniversaries, and all kinds of anniversaries and days. I don't know how he keeps track of them. And often you yourself might have forgotten, but suddenly in the morning there would be a bouquet at your doorstep delivered by somebody with a card from Sanjay reminding you that it is some anniversary that you had yourself forgotten. So I don't know how he does it, but the point I'm trying to make is he's an incredible, empathetic, compassionate, and thoughtful leader. Sanjay, tell us a little bit about your leadership philosophy and leadership style. How do you build this connect with people that people, frankly, I've seen, even when I was leading a team under you, I had a fairly large team myself, but I could notice that there would be times when people from my team were more comfortable talking to you than to me. How do you do that? How do you manage that sort of, interpersonal connection with people that, people just get attracted towards you?
Yeah, no, it's a very valid point. And I think one of the most important leadership traits, if I were to call it today, is being compassionate, being empathetic. Guys, gone are the days, when you could say that, an authoritarian leader used to run the shop, the Hitler of the world that you will remember, or Gabbar Singh of the world, that, you have a stick in your hand or a gun in your hand and you can get anything done. This is a different era altogether. The gun doesn't work here, the roses does. So remember, I'll give you some practical tips now, that perhaps will make a big difference to you, to the point that Abhinav made, that how you navigate in this world where, for example, I have had almost 150 employees reporting from US into me. They are different kinds, different culture. I had people reporting into me from UK and of course, India, of course. So how do you make sure that, you deal with those people and able to have an emotional connect, whether you are an Indian or whether you are in US or whether you are in Asia? So some of the basic tips, and this is my favorite one that I'm starting to share with you. I normally charge $1,000 for this one, but I'm not charging anything from you guys because you are from the same fraternity. I'm just joking. I don't charge anything. The first thing is, this is what I learned when it is in 1997 when I joined this company. It so happened that they thought that I'm a very good employee. So they sent me for a training. The training was in Goa. So for me, the attraction was Goa. Wow, you're sending a 5-day training trip to a Goa kind of a destination. So I was all up, but I was picked up for this training. The training is called Achieving Extraordinary Customer Relations. This is 97, guys. You may not have been born by then, or some of you, may not have been born. 97 means 23 years. So some of you may be younger than 23 years. But I'm also young, by the way, just to come back to the same point that Abhinav said, I'm a father figure. I got married when I was just 10 years old. So 25 if we are, so I'm just 35-year-old, just to set the record straight. Because Abhinav always tries to prove that, he's younger than me. But the difference of age between Abhinav and me is just 1 or 2 months kind,
and I'm the older one. I'm actually the older one.
And he's the older one. It's in the mind here, guys. It's in the mind here. It's not actual. But coming back to the first tip, this model that I learned from this Goa trip it's called human business model. Now it's 23 years that I have implemented this model. Sorry.
Can you repeat the name of the model? Your voice got cut.
Sorry, it's called human business model. Human business model.
Right.
What it means is, and this is the model that I have applied right from 97 till date. Whether I'm dealing with a fresh colleague, fresh graduate, or whether I'm dealing with the senior most CEO or the CFO of the company. It's the same model. What it means is that every time you start a communication with anyone, be it a shop floor colleague, be it your peer, be it your leader, be it your customer, every time you start your conversation, start at a human level. What it means at a human level is that you say that, for example, if I'm meeting Abhinav today, I'll not say that, Abhinav, let's get on to the session. I will probably ask Abhinav that, let's, how's things, how are you handling this COVID crisis? What are the things that are happening? Is your kids okay? What are they doing? So start at a human level and understand the psyche of the person that, is the person is in a happy mode, or is the person has some crisis because of which his attention may be diverted. So in the first 1 or 2 minutes, you can make out this person is with you or partially with you and partially because there is a crisis. So you start your conversation at a human level, then come to the business for which you are having that discussion. It is a review. It is reviewing something, talking something, issues. And as you go through this conversation, make sure that you just don't stick to the business conversation. Bring the human element in the conversation. And when you end the conversation, it should also end at a human level. So what I'm just trying to say is, it's like start at a human, come to business, oscillate between human and business, but exit the conversation at a human level. If you do that, believe you me, anybody and everybody would love to have a chat with you. Now, I'll give you a practical example that if you go to a mall and if you go to a shop, let's take 2 shops. You go to shop number 1 and nobody greets you. And they just look at you from top to bottom and say, okay, let him figure out or let her figure out. You will not buy anything from that person. Versus the second shop, when you go, there is somebody who will greet you. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. How can I help you? What are you looking for it? And then you get into the business transaction. You will buy it from the second shop because that servicing aspect, that human aspect, that respect, that empathy is what a human being wants. We are not machines. So this is one thing that I would strongly recommend that will make a big difference.
Yeah, no, very, very, very valid point. And, I remember Sanjay always keeps an open door policy. Its doors are always open. People can walk in, can say hello. So building that human connection is so important in whatever it is that you're doing. And for the 4 years, for example, folks, that I've worked with Sanjay, uh, every Wednesday, and many of you know this story, every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. For 4 straight years, I used to have my one-on-one conversation for 45 minutes every week. And not even once did that one-on-one conversation got cancelled or postponed, unless Sanjay or I were traveling or something of that sort. Not once in 4 years. And it used to start at 10:30. So, I used to be in office at 10:28 every single week. And again, all of my students from FLM know how much I have constantly told you about the value of being on time. And I've told you these stories about how my ex-boss used to start every meeting 2 minutes earlier and end every meeting 5 minutes before time. Uh, so, so that's Sanjay for you. That's how he teaches you these very simple, basic, fundamental lessons of life. Now, I got a couple of more questions, and then I want the audience to ask some questions. I hope, guys, you're writing down some questions, and you have some questions. Even the folks who are currently working with Sanjay, they can come up with anonymous names and ask difficult questions to Sanjay in case you're not able to ask those questions in the office setting. But a couple of more questions, Sanjay, that I wanted to ask. Uh, so a lot of times when I'm conducting my sessions in Finance Leadership Mastermind, uh, my students ask me how to deal with stressful situations at work or office politics. And that's a reality. We always have these situations where, the same people, same set of people are vying for the same pot of gold, or, somebody you feel is trying to steal credit, or somebody else is, become closer to your boss, and, you're not getting enough opportunities, and then you start getting, sidelined, and then your relationships start to worsen. So this is a very, very common problem. And youngsters don't really know how to navigate through these kind of situations, I think. And there is about 40 odd people right now in this room, and probably many more on YouTube as well right now. Almost everybody goes through this situations. And I went through this situation. I'm sure you have. What would be your advice to people? How do we deal with these kind of situations at workplace where, we're going through, issues with people around us, there's politics and all of this stuff happening. What would be your golden advice here for us?
No,
I could never ask you while I was there working for you, but I can ask you now.
No, absolutely. And I think first of all, it is quite natural. It's a very natural feeling because it's a highly competitive world today. So if any one of you tells me that you have not faced this situation where somebody tried to bypass you, somebody tried to steal the credit of the work that you have done, uh, somebody is kind of doing a saying something behind your back to your leaders, uh, somebody is getting a sexier project, then perhaps that should have come to you. If you have not faced this situation, then you have not actually joined any organization. It's in all organization.
Yeah.
The difference that happens is that it becomes very, very, what do you call, sophisticated when you move from one organization. In certain organizations, you won't even know that somebody has actually pulled the carpet under you. And
Yeah.
after you have fallen, then you're like, oh, I think I have fallen because of myself. But no, somebody has actually pulled the rug under you. So this happens,
Yeah.
and it happened with me also. And I always use this analogy. There are some people who are from convent school. There are some people who are from students from government school. The convent school, you would have seen many movies, convent school and government school. Amir Khan's movie was famous on that, cycling. I'm forgetting the name. But the important thing is these smart guys, so-called smart guys, which I'm using the term convent school. Please, anybody from convent school, don't take it wrongly, because I'm just using it as a analogy here. Some smart people will always try to push themselves, not because of their capabilities, but because they want to put other people down so that they kind of look better than the other people.
Right.
And they will be around every level. I have seen it right from the entry level to the middle management level to the top management level where I am today. It's everywhere. As you grow in the organization, the sophistication becomes very high. You want to know, you say, oh, Abhinav, I'm your best friend. Abhinav, I love you. But you don't know that as I hug Abhinav behind, I'll have a knife and I'll pull out a knife. So the important thing to address here is that this is where I always say that two things I will give you very important. Haan, jo dita wahi Sikandar, absolutely right. Somebody pointed out. Thank you for that. It is important that there are two, three practical tips I will give you to address this situation. Number one, when you are in a job, when you are in a role, you always have something to showcase your own work, and that's the most fundamental thing. You rise, you do a good job, you get rewards not because of others not doing well. You get rewards because you do a good job. So remember, first thing first. First thing which is important is make sure that the job that you are doing, you do it very well. And there are two parts to it, to this doing your job well. One is, let's take a simple example that you're responsible for management reporting, which means the budgeted profit and loss account and the actual profit and loss account, and then you compare and then you give a variance commentary that why there is a difference between the income budgeted and income actual. If that is your job, now doing that job right the first time, 100% quality is important, because if there is a deadline that on day one you have to deliver this report, deliver that. The second thing that will make a big difference to you is then you look at how I am doing this job, and can I eliminate some of the steps? Can I automate this job? Can I simplify this job? Can I reduce the cycle time of this job, which is called transform the process, transform the work that you are doing. So doing core very well is important. Transforming the core is very important. As long as you are doing that. And number two, whenever you have a conversation with your boss, make sure that you get a very clear understanding that what is my goal? What is the measure of success of that goal? Because normally what I have seen is there is always a mismatch between the expectation that a leader has or a boss has and what you feel that what you're doing. Alignment, and also doing a temperature check every month that am I on the right track? That's important. Number two, don't play politics in your life. Believe you me, never ever get into this dirty word politics, because then you're going into a wrong track. Never do that. If others are doing it, you don't do it. And the third and the most important point is, which is what I always advise, is then one skill that you need to learn as you go through your journey is called human psychology. Can I look at, when I look at Abhinav's face, for an example, can I make out that he loves me or he hates me? There are some body language, trainings that you can see where the body language itself tells you that this guy hates you or this guy loves you. So you can do that. But the important thing is, as you go up in the hierarchy, learning body language and understanding whether this person loves me or not is very critical, because then you can say that if this person doesn't love me, then you try and protect yourself, but not hit back, because hitting back is that you're like him or her. Don't do that. I have never done that. I have always protected myself, but I have always highlighted my job, my headlines so much that others are kind of nowhere around. So these are few things which are important. It's real, it happens to everyone, but keep these three things in mind.
Absolutely, absolutely, very valid point, Sanjay. And for the FLM students, if you remember our last class where we speak about this, some of those things that Sanjay was highlighting. Once again, communication is very important. Communication, especially with your leader, have very clear lines of communication. Keep the leader informed. Keep understanding what the leader wants you to do or say, and never break the trust. Try to solve problems. Try to help people, and building a positive attitude, being around with good people, people who want to grow and are ambitious and are doing it the right way. like Sanjay mentioned, it's on your face, folks. I mean, your leaders won't take more than a minute to recognize if you are a positive person or a person with a negative attitude. So, find your company, build the right sort of ecosystem for yourself in your organizations. That becomes very important. So great point, Sanjay. Thank you. Now, the one other aspect that I wanted to speak about, Sanjay, I remember about 4 years ago, uh, there was this meeting we were having with a big four consultant who had come to our office trying to sell us robotics process automation, RPA. When nobody had really heard about it, honestly. There was no RPA in finance industry at that point in time. I remember sitting through that meeting. And later that day, you called, you had a call with us, with me and my peers, and you said we're going ahead with RPA. And I remember, I mean, I'm generally not a cynical person. I'm very up for new opportunities and new things. But I remember myself at that point in time thinking, why is he doing it? There is no RPA right now in finance. Why is he pushing us in a direction that nobody's gone in? But lo and behold, I mean, 4 years ago, we started the RPA journey and we did great job with RPA. We're probably the industry leaders. So to say, we created fantastic use cases and transformed our processes using RPA. So, it's obviously a sign of, visionary leadership. So what sort of new trends and what sort of new things do you think are happening out there that we guys need to be aware of? I mean, I always talk to my students about becoming aware of the future, being aware of the trends, developing future skills around automation, data, etc. Any thoughts from you around what do we do in the future now? I mean, how can we prepare ourselves for what's going to happen after this recession?
Very valid point. But before I answer this specific, I just want to comment on what you mentioned about robotics process and automation that we started 4 years back. And just for the information of everyone, we actually got the best company award from the same consultant who came to sell the solution in 2 years' time. I mean, that is the success journey that we had.
And we did it ourselves. We did it without them.
And we did that without them, so that's the second part. But I just want to give you one more practical tip here, very simple tip here. The point that, Abhinav mentioned that how did you think about robotic at that time when nobody had robotic implemented in finance? We also did one more thing. We actually implemented machine learning after that. Again, first ever in finance. What we did this year also is that we implemented a bot to resolve customer queries or automatically answer customer queries. Again, first in finance globally, globally. So we have been the pioneers of this. And I'll give you one tip here. How I do it, how it comes so intuitively to me. The tip here is, you always use this term called first mover advantage. Remember, anything new that you hear, anything new that you find that the company wants to do, any new product, any new function, any new technology, anything new that is coming, the keyword is new. Sign up for that. Get the first mover advantage, because if you become the guinea pig of a proof of concept, of a test bed, what will happen is that test bed, that proof of concept is noticed by everyone because this is the first time it is happening. After that, everybody will implement, because then you become a follower. Oh, somebody did it. Okay, Abhinav implemented, so let me also implement. That second person doesn't get that advantage. The first person gets the advantage. So always keep this point in mind. We have the first move advantage. You will always be seen as a pioneer, as a strategist, as a thinker. Oh my God, how? The trick is very simple. I mean, like I told you, I had 50% marks. I am not an intelligent person. In fact, Abhinav is far more intelligent than me, better speaker than me. His eye for detail is much more than me. He is very sharp in everything. But how I did it is, this small thing, let me be the first. What will happen? Worst case, I'll fail. The second tip is fail if you want to fail, or if you fail fast and recover. So if this product is not working, try it immediately. And if you fail, chuck it off, move to the second. Now coming to the question that Abhinav mentioned, what was the question? Sorry, I forgot that in my.
Yeah, no. So how do you see this?
Yeah. Okay.
New
Okay.
trends
Got it.
emerging? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is a very pertinent question for you guys who are starting your career, and I'll tell you how I am dealing with it. Finance function is changing by the days now, not even months, not even year. It's changing by the day. What you have learned will be applicable, but how you will deliver, how you will do is completely changing. So the finance leader of tomorrow versus finance leader of today, it will be like a day and night difference. And therefore, you have to continue to invest yourself. And that's one thing that I also wanted to tell you, that when I was talking about how I learned different skills, whether it was quality Six Sigma, whether it is control and compliance, whether it is technology implementation, I never stopped there, because we came to robotics, I learned robotics. When we came to machine learning, I learned machine learning. Now, when I'm talking about these latest technologies, I'm not expecting you to do the coding. No, you are not a coder. You're a finance professional. All you need to do is just learn the what this robotic is all about, what this artificial intelligence is all about, and as a business owner or as a business function, how can you use it? Somebody else will do the coding, but you need to understand that how I can take the benefit of it and apply it in my function. So to cut the long story short, continue to invest in your learning and development with the latest and the greatest that is happening. Again, basic working knowledge, guys. I'm not asking you to perfect. So do a basic learning on robotics, do a basic learning on natural language generation, do a basic learning on machine learning, so that you can take these concepts, use your functional business finance knowledge, combine it, and then make your product better, sooner, faster, efficient, effective.
Right. Absolutely. So become more aware, read more, participate in more conferences, seminars, webinars, do some short-term courses, becoming aware of what's the new trend. See what's looking like a very distant future will very quickly become our present. So it's very important to become aware of it and raise your hand. Very valid point Sanjay made, which I also make in my last class with you guys, is raise your hand. Whenever you see somebody talking about a big project, a big vision, something very difficult, a problem that needs to be solved, become the person who raises his or her hand, so that you get that opportunity before somebody else takes it and gets all the brownie points. So learn to raise your hand. That's important. All right, folks, we are at 11:56. I promise Sanjay I'll take 1 hour with him, but we might go over by 5 minutes. I'm sure Sanjay won't mind that today. Let me see if there are questions from the audience. All of you who's got questions here. Folks, if you have a question, you can switch on your video so that we can see you. Come over to the screen and ask your question. All right, Akshara, Prashant, and Akshara. All right, 2 questions for now, folks. Please don't switch on more videos. Sanjay, Akshara is a student of mine. She's a recently qualified chartered accountant, looking to make her career in financial reporting and record to report. So I'm guiding her with that. Akshara, go ahead, ask your question.
Hello, Sanjay sir. It was a pleasure listening to you.
Hi.
Hi sir. So my question to you is, in today's times, if we continue with the company for more than 3 years, we are considered that there is some issue. We live in an era of switching jobs. So how did you manage to be in a single company for 25 years? That is the first question. And second question is it possible in today's times as well? Because personally, I would like to work for a single organization if it is working for me. I don't want to keep switching jobs. So do you think it is possible even today?
Before Sanjay gets in, Akshara, do connect with Sanjay. If you can go and work with Sanjay, you'll never have to quit. And Sanjay has a lot of jobs that you are targeting. So
it was a pleasure listening to you, because this is the exact profile Abhinav sir has suggested me. It was an added advantage.
Right.
Yeah, these
Sanjay,
are my questions.
Yeah. So your question is absolutely valid in today's world and today's era. But let me just first answer your first part, and then I'll come to the second part. The first part is that if yes, I am in the same company for 25 years, but if you recall what I said, in 25 years, I changed 8 jobs, 8 distinct different jobs, which typically in a normal
Sanjay, your voice
scenario,
is
you would
breaking
have
a little bit.
changed. Sorry, is it better now?
Yeah, it is.
What I said is that in 25 years, I changed 8 distinct different jobs. In a normal scenario, I would have changed 8 companies.
Yes.
But this company offered me every opportunity to learn different things, whether it is finance, quality, technology, analytics, robotics. So that's one thing that I just wanted to tell you, that I was not doing the same function. Now, let me
Yeah.
tell you today, today's trend is that you should not continue with the same company for a long time.
Yeah.
Today the trend is, and I have, there is this Egon Zander, you would have heard about, they are the number one placement companies for senior leadership.
Hmm.
They are telling that today they are looking for talent who have different cultures experience, different profiles, different leadership experiences, and they are in today. So my recommendation to all the new professionals is
Hmm.
stick to one company for at least 3 years.
Okay.
First year you join, you learn. Second year you start delivering. Third year you transform and outperform that role, and then move on.
Okay.
If you're not getting a promotion in the same company. So today the preference at a senior leadership, at a middle management leadership is have diverse experience across diverse cultures, diverse companies, whether manufacturing, servicing, whether local company, global company. That's the trend today.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Akshara, for your question. Prashant, are you there? Prashant?
Yes, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes. Go ahead, Prashant.
I think the video is not there. I can't
Prashant,
start the video.
yeah, we can't see you. So Sanjay, Prashant is also a FLM participant. He's my most senior participant, actually. I'm very proud that Prashant joined me. He's a CFO. He's worked as a CFO in some large companies, and he joined my program. So had a great time working
Oh,
with him.
very
He
good.
almost became a co-teacher with me when I was running
Oh,
Prashant's
wonderful.
batches. Go ahead,
Wonderful.
Prashant.
Thank you, Abhinav, for such a good introduction. Uh, Basically, I wanted to know, Sanjay, since I have been out of job for some time, almost around 10 months, if my CV comes to you, how do you look at it? So there is a gap of 10 months, although my caliber and my experience and knowledge remains intact. How do you see as a candidate that, if you have a candidate, another candidate having a running experience and a candidate like me who has a gap of 10 months, how do you see that?
Very valid question, very valid point. If you had shared your CV with me 5 years back, I would have not seen your CV, not even looked at your CV. However, things have changed now. In today's world, I would definitely pick up that CV also. So that's the straight answer to your question. What has changed now is that lot of professionals now are taking risks and leaving one job, moving to another. Some of you are joining startups, and the startup may fail, and
Exactly
therefore
what has
you
happened
may.
with me.
Yeah, I could see that. Trust my judgment here. The facial reading with the mustaches on, I can see that. Otherwise you would have removed your mustaches by now. Just kidding. But the point here is that you join startups, you fail, and then you're jobless. We look for those people who are willing to take risk today. It wasn't earlier. The very fact that you left a bright and sunny career and a fixed income, that you basically have taken risk. So I would prefer a person who is taking risk today, because that person will be more successful tomorrow. You know, one of the things that we always observed in our whenever we do a leadership assessment is the person able to take more risks? And I'll tell you one thing that I always share, that there was a survey conducted with the ex CEOs and COOs of uh, Fortune 100 companies about 3-4 years back. They were asked two questions, that what are your two regrets? These are all retired CEOs. They were asked two questions. 80% of them responded that the two disappointments or regrets that they have: number one, wish they had taken more risks; number two, wish they had spent time with their families. So I would go with a person who is taking risks today, because this person is entrepreneur, has more appetite, has more resilience. So that will be my answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great answer. So, in your case, Prashant, I think rather than being almost apologetic about the fact that you have a gap of 10 months, be proud of the fact that you've acquired these skills, and like Sanjay said, you've taken that risk. So, be more forthcoming with it rather than trying to be, because the moment we get defensive with whatever we have on our resume, uh, we sort of lose the battle with the recruiters. So let's be assertive about it. It is what it is, right? So thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for sharing it. Sanjay, if you're okay, can we take one last question?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Okay. So there is a lot of people who are saying they've got a question. Let me just randomly pick, guys. Please don't be mad at me. What I will actually suggest is all of you should connect with Sanjay on LinkedIn. And Sanjay loves answering questions, I know. So please do connect with Sanjay on LinkedIn, and do feel free to reach out to him for any guidance that you guys might need in the future. I can assure you that he'll not let you down by not answering your queries. The person I'm just randomly picking, honestly, for a question here is Madhukar. Madhukar is a FNM Batch 5 student with me. He works with FIS, Sanjay, right now in back office investment banking functions. So Madhukar, over to you, buddy. Ask your question.
Oh, thank you, Abhinav, sir. So, Sanjay, thank you for this session. I think it's been a great learning for all of us, starting in our career or be it in a middle level right now. So, one question that I have is, as a part of great leadership team that you had, I think there must have been many conflicts or obstacles, right? So, as a leader, how do you motivate your team to win through those obstacles?
Very good question. Thank you very much. And I really love your hairstyle. That's the first thing that I will do, that I will change my hairstyle and inspire people. But that's on the lighter side. A nice hairstyle, and you're really good. I
Part
think
of the lockdown things.
No. You should be. Are you married or not?
No, I'm saying very young.
That's right. That's one, very young. How young you are? How much young?
26 years old.
Oh, 26-year-old.
Yes.
Very good. And you call yourself young? Okay. No. That's the reason I'm saying is, when I was 26-year-old, I got married actually, but I won't recommend you that. So I think, most of us, whether at the start of our career or somewhere down the line in few years, will become leaders with large teams. I have led teams which are like 1,000 plus, with people across the globe, and you can't do everything yourself. You have to delegate. You have to trust people. You have to trust your team to do a wonderful job, and you have to inspire them. Otherwise, you are failed as a leader. Today, the success mantra of a leader, the measure of success of a leader is not that that leader is doing well. The success that, and what this is how we test the leadership in our company. The test is that how many people reporting to you are successful today. That's the metric we track today when we do talent assessment. So it's not your success, it's the success of your people. And that's where you have to invest in them, whether coaching, guiding, direction, whether getting them a mentor. Another thing that I would strongly recommend all of you is that when you start a career with any new company, tell your leader that get a mentor to you, assign a buddy to you who can guide you through the initial period. That's very important. The human business model that I mentioned, starting at a human level, then business, is very important. Small, small things, walk the floor, stop by at the cafe, talk to people for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They will feel that you're a human being, not a machine. So those are the things. So in summary, we are saying stay humble. Just stay humble. People will obviously work for you. And then I also do is that I always give aggressive goals, little bit aggressive than what this person can deliver, and then help that person to deliver and achieve those goals. Because if you just give goals and don't help them, that's not going to help. So you need to also support them wherever they need support. Then they will deliver more than what you have even asked. That's what I would say. But maintain this hairstyle even if you are lockdown is over, because you will get at least 150 proposals.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights. It's very much helpful, sir.
Thank you, Madhukar. Thank you for asking that question. And I am a first-hand victim of Sanjay setting aggressive goals. Uh, so he's he's famous for setting the bar so high that people want to achieve more and more. That's always good, though. So, well, guys, I know you've got a bunch of questions, tons of questions, but I need to be respectful to Sanjay as well. Maybe what we'll do is over the next few months, we'll request Sanjay to come back and have another chat with this group, because I just know there is so much, wisdom and so much experience that Sanjay has that will be beneficial to all of us. It's still beneficial to me. I have learned a lot today myself after having spent years with Sanjay. I'm sure all of you have as well. So I wanted to really take a moment now, Sanjay, to thank you so much for joining me in this inaugural Iempower talks. There'll be many more talks with many more leaders, but I'll always hold this one special and close to my heart. This was wonderful. It was incredible conversing with you, and I'm sure everybody's benefited. So thank you so much, sir, for your time, and I'll hopefully see you soon again.
Yeah, I'll just give a last point here. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Abhinav. I always learned from you. You are actually an expert. And ladies and sorry, not ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, let me just tell you, whatever I have shared is what I have learned from Abhinav, watching him from distance. So I think he's a wonderful guy, and he's very passionate about leadership. So I think if a person is passionate, that person will really make sure that you are also successful. So I think you're in safe hands, I can tell you. And I really enjoyed the conversation today. Obviously, 32 years of practical on-the-shop experience can't be condensed in 70 minutes. But like I said, I am always available. This is also my passion. The last tip that I want to give you as a parting gift, treat this as my return gift to you guys, is a very important tip that you will really thank yourself to attend this session. The tip is that, you all have, your login IDs and your login passwords, right? You have your Google login ID and then the password, and you have multiple passwords that you use. Typically, on an average, the passwords that you use are, for Abhinav will say Abhinav's daughter. So daughter 123, somebody like you, investment banking, I'm unmarried. So girlfriend 123, somebody will say I have a kid. So kid 123, different passwords. My recommendation for a password, and believe you me, you try it, it is tested, time proven. Make your password as a goal, short-term goal, a goal that you want to achieve in 60 days, because password expires typically in 60 days, 90 days. Keep a short-term goal as a password. And you will see that because you will type that password at least 10 times a day, it will make a big difference. I think Varun is saying I have that, so wonderful. And Varun must be successful from that, I can promise. So for example, if you want to lose weight, then you say that, 10 kg minus as an example. So every time you type 10 kg minus, 10 kg minus 10. You will not have, when Abhinav offer you an ice cream, you'll say, no, Abhinav, I don't want an ice cream from you. Get me something more healthier. If you want to, whatever you want to do, short-term goal, use that password. And every time over the next 3-4 years, when you will look back, you will find that 80% of what you wanted, you have achieved. Not 100% always never happen, but 80% you always achieve. So that's my parting gift. I also have my password like these only. I will share with you maybe next time if Abhinav feels that, I did so badly that nobody wants to meet me. But thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
All the best to you. You all will have a great career. I can tell you, if I can have, anybody can have. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sanjay, once again. Have a great weekend. And guys, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend ahead and stay connected. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.